Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. In today's update, we're going to check out AVAX's price chart and see what is happening in the short term, and I am really now seeing some very good optimistic signs. But before we get into all that, as per usual, we are going to talk about some fundamentals, and this one I would say is quite interesting and at the same time, maybe from my point of view at least, a little bit controversial, and I'm going to tell you in a bit why. Now, if you look at this chart, you are realizing that we have recently processed over 1.2 billion transactions in just a single month in Avalanche's C chain. And this, in my view, is kind of a big deal because it is proving one very important thing clearly. Avalanche's C chain does have the capability to scale quite a bit, and this level of activity doesn't really come from like normal token transfers on the C chain. No, it actually mainly I would say comes from subnets, especially gaming and also enterprise applications that need constant high speed transactions. And if you look at the breakdowns, I think recently I saw an article saying that this equals around 450 transactions per second running non-stop. And on some days in December, we even had up to about, I think it was 47 million transactions in just a single day without any issues. And that to me is really important because again, many chains at these numbers are actually going to fail spectacularly, and Avalanche's C chain is showing you that it has the ability to scale quite a bit. Now, to be fair, I want to be honest, not all transactions are actually high value DeFi trades. No, some of this volume comes from games, but these transactions still again cost fees and require AVAX. So what we can say with a decent bit of certainty is this is not some fake activity or a spam. No, this is real usage, and this is going to create a gap between price and fundamentals. And you know it, I'm going to say this in every single video as long as I'm not proven otherwise and the price of Avalanche is low. Fundamental wise, we are on the right track and we are just exploding to the upside. On the other hand, price wise, AVAX in the last 12 months has been on a beautiful decline. I think we saw about something like a 60% decline, which is absolutely insane. And this is creating a massive gap. And these are the times to make a good amount of money if you are feeling good about your investments and you have done your research. Okay, please do not listen to anything I, or for that matter, anybody else on social media says. You should 100% do your due diligence, come up with your own conclusion about your specific project. And then, for example, in case of Avalanche, if you thought, yeah, you know what, this is a good token with great fundamentals and the future is quite bright for it, okay, fair enough, maybe watch some YouTube videos and complete your informations. From my POV, Avalanche is a great token, and I do think the price finally at some point is going to catch up to the fundamentals, and we are going to see some great moves on the upside. Hopefully, I'm going to argue by the end of this cycle. Now, at the beginning of the video, I told you the metric that I want to show you is a little bit controversial. Why is that? Because sure, transactions are actually up by quite a bit. However, the total stablecoin supply is not necessarily up that much. You see, this is Artemis platform and I'm not getting paid by them or anything. No, I just like what these guys are doing. Their charts are actually fantastic. And if I just put this one, there we go. As you can see, this right in here is the supply of stable coins on Avalanche's C chain. And as you can see, basically in the last year, the stablecoin supply has been flat. On the other hand, the overall stablecoin supply on every single chain in the whole crypto space has seen actually quite a bit of increase. So from my POV, this is not necessarily a good sign. And you might ask, well, okay, at this point, since the whole crypto space is down, do we have some chains that the stablecoin supply on them are actually increasing? The answer is yes. And outside of big names like, for example, Ethereum, Tron, and Solana, we actually have Polygon, which we are talking about it every, let's say, 3-4 days. And as you can see, starting from the beginning of 2025, where is it? There we go. As you can see, at the beginning of 2025, we had about $1.8 billion in total stablecoin supply, and the whole crypto market back at the beginning of 2025, generally in those months, were actually quite a bit higher. But right now, the whole market is absolutely 100% down, and not a lot of people are watching YouTube videos. Trust me, I know this since I see the numbers in my analytics. But again, right now, Polygon's stablecoin supply is somewhere around $3 billion. And as you can see, despite the recent moves on the downside, we are basically in here forming a bottom. And I do think this is going to continue quite a bit. So if you are wondering, what is it that we need to see when it comes to payments that is going to prove us that, yeah, you know what, we are actually on the right track and we are going to benefit from, I would say, pretty much the most important crypto killer app, I think is this, the total stablecoin supply on each chain. And in Avalanche, again, the supply is relatively flat and I want to see an increase in this one. If I see an increase in transactions and at the same time also an increase in Avalanche's C-chain total stablecoin supply, it is in my view going to be an awesome sign suggesting, yep, even in this area, which is, I would say, not necessarily even like AVAX's expertise, we are actually doing very well. And again, this is yet another reason to buy the dips when we are getting one. Now, in Avalanche recently, yep, we definitely haven't gotten any dip starting from this point about, let's say, like 15 days ago, and the lowest low in here is about $11, and right now we are around $14, and this is essentially like, let's just measure it real quick. As you can see, about a 25% move on the upside, which is definitely not that bad. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, like we talked about it in every single update, I do not care about the move up itself, okay? What really matters from my POV is the shape of it, and you know it. In case you are actually like even a new viewer, you should understand that my field of works is Elliott waves, and if you want to be bullish on any chart according to Elliott waves, you have to be able to find off of the lowest low a 5-wave on the upside. This specific scenario is called an impulse. Rules for it are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5-wave, or wave 3 should not be the smallest wave, and in terms of the subwaves, you know what, we're gonna have 5-wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5, and for wave 2 and 4, we can consider different possibilities. Let's say, sure, ABC into 4 and maybe like a WXY into R wave 2. Now, let's go on the live chart and see what is going on. And thank God that what we talked about in the previous video in Avalanche in case of a bearish scenario did not play out. If you remember, the last time that we talked about AVAX, we were right around this area and we were like, yeah, you know what? As long as we are not going down in Avalanche in a strong manner in order to take this important slow down here about $11.9, I think makes sense to be quite optimistic. And if you're looking for some areas to consider as resistances, all eyes should be on this important daily short-term, I would say, resistance area. And the moments that we get a break of it, our move up can actually accelerate a little bit more, because above it, we really do not have like a whole lot of strong resistances. And what's happening here? This is a classic, beautiful, I would say probably even like the most beautiful breaking setup. This is our initial move up, followed by that picture perfect pullback, and then continuation of the move up. So from this point moving forward, I think this is going to act as a support area. And in terms of Elliott's waves, I still believe the bullish scenario hopefully is happening, and probably from this point, this is 5 up into 1. This is correction into wave 2. And you know what? Let's be even pessimistic and argue this is our wave 3, this is 4, this is 5. Now, if the bullish scenario is in play, and I'm really hoping that it is actually going to be in play, okay, right around this area in an ideal scenario, we want to see a consolidation pattern, a correction structure. Maybe I would say even like in form of, where is it? Something like an A, B, C, D, E in form of a triangular structure, and then yet another move on the upside. And I do think we are going to get this one, and the target for it, well, bare minimum is going to be this resistance about, let's say, $15 region, but I think a better one can be, for example, around here about maybe $16 area. Generally, I do think our move up in Avalanche is going to continue after having a little bit of consolidation in here. And if you see something like this, it is going to be like a very good sign suggesting hopefully we have hit the lows. Why? Because if we get this, it basically suggests on a higher degree, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, and earlier we said having an impulse off of the lows is a good sign indicating the bottom is in. But I want to be very clear, under any kind of circumstances, this coming move on the upside is not going to be a buy opportunity. Okay, it's very important to understand that. Why is that? Because even according to the most bullish case on any chart, after completing a 5 wave, what are we going to have? You know it, we're gonna have a bit of a pullback down, and this is going to be a bit of a slow and choppy move on the downside in form of a correction and structure. And you know what, if in these areas we identify the correct subwaves for a correction, fair enough, this can be a great long opportunity. And for instance, if you are looking for some short-term trades, this can be under the lows about, let's say, $11 in general. Your stop loss, your targets can be somewhere around the higher end of this region, about $19.5, $20. So essentially you're gonna have probably a risk to reward of about 1 to 3, 1 to 4, which is definitely not that bad. But the coming move up, I'll be honest with you, I do not believe is actually a decent long opportunity, since after it I do expect a bit of a pullback down. And here is my final point. Let's say, okay, we are going to have this move up in Avalanche. If we get one, at that point, all eyes on the previous major pivot high on H1, and also I would say probably H4 time frame as well, which is going to be, you know it, this one right in here, about $15.2. And see, are we going to take it or not? Why do we care about this? Because in terms of classic trends, in a downtrend, what do you have? A series of lower highs and lower lows. Question: when is it that you might be, again, not with a lot of certainty, but definitely you might be able to argue maybe the lowest end? When we get a move up, and in it we take the previous major pivot high right in here, and that major pivot high in Avalanche is translating to this one, about $15.2. So if we take it, I would argue this is going to be definitely an optimistic sign. Right now, I think our move up hopefully is going to continue a little bit more, and it seems like, at least for now, we are on the right track. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in AVAX's chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.